All right, fans, welcome to another edition of In Conversation. Today's guest from Night Ranger, Mr. Kelly Keagy. Kelly,
Hey,
how
how
you
are?
doing?
I'm doing good. How's it going up there in New York? You're up in Buffalo, right? I'm looking at your hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Well, things are we're hanging tough right now, and things are getting a little scary with the numbers again, a little climbing higher up, but for the most part, things are still going on as far as concerts and events. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, everybody's just gotta, wear a mask or whatever, or get vaccinated or whatever they feel like. I just feel like, we got to do something. Just because it's really a dangerous time right now. But we'll see what happens. Everybody's gonna have to just take care of though.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's dig right in here. The good news is for you guys, you got a brand new album out. ATBPO is the name of it, but it actually stands for, tell us all about all that stuff there.
Yeah, it stands for and the band played on because we just felt like during the COVID shutdown that we were all kind of stuck, and we wanted to relate you know that to other people as well, and see just to kind of uh, we were just coming to a self realization that we might not be able to do what we wanted to do, and still create and still play music and that. So we came up with that whole idea of like we're gonna keep going no matter what.
All right, take us through how the album came to life here. How you guys, when you started the process of writing, and how long it took to get it all recorded from that point and everything.
Joe, it took way too long, way too long. No, well, you know what it was? We weren't really planning on making an album. We had a tour booked. We were going to be touring all summer long in 2020, and it was just it all went away, and so we had all this time, and so then we started to think about, well, let's utilize the time that we do have, and make some progress towards writing some songs. So what we did is we just got on you know things like this applications, Zoom. We got phone calls, and we just started to send clips around. We started to like formulate chord changes, songs, melodies, lyrics, and over the course of probably 3 or 4 months, we started to have some good ideas of some really good courses, some really good subjects that we wanted to write about. A lot of the subjects that came out were having to do with what everybody was going through, and
Hmm.
being forced to stay away from each other and forced to be stay at home. And so we used that as inspiration, and wrote some of the songs that are on the album. Breakout, perfect example, the first single. Another one called Dance, you know, a song that Jack wrote that I sang called Hardest Road. Um, you know, just we just basically tapped into that energy and and wrote some good songs.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good stuff on this album. It's pretty much the way you guys have been doing them lately. Seems like the albums are a lot heavier than obviously your older albums. Just they seem to come out more rock into it and less less ballads as opposed to, or at least not the soft ballads. They're a little bit heavier. You know what I mean?
I agree. And the thing was is that we got stuck kind of in a trick bag on the second album, where the first single was You Can Still Rock in America, and that one got somewhere in the 50s, and
Hmm.
just and stopped for some reason. Um, so then the record company came out with Sister Christian, and that one like was a big hit. And then when we went to Seven Wishes, the third album, they released Sentimental Street as the first single. They were like, well, let's just like cut to the chase and get right to it, because we want to get our money back, you know. And that's where you get kind of stuck, sometimes where you don't really get to make the decisions in the direction that you want your band to go. I mean, we could sit and complain all day about it, but you know, when it gets down to it, we were very fortunate to have a hit. We love the fact that it was that song and it wasn't a love ballad. It was just so we were happy about it. But stuff like that can be a blessing and a curse at the same
Hmm.
time. So that, like I said, the next album they just tried to release the ballad and get right to it, and so we've always been kind of right there. So when we have the chance to produce our own records, we just said, let's just do them like we want to do them. Let's write the songs we want to write. Let's release the songs we want to release. And fortunately, Serafino and Mario at Frontiers agrees with how we think, our career should go. So they've been on board with us the whole time with this. So, but I mean, it's like everything changes, and you don't have that big machine behind you, which is trying to get that hit song, and but at the same time, we get to do what we want to do, and we're very happy about it.
Yeah, take us back to Sister Christian. That was actually the first song that really broke for you, got you up to number 5, the highest single you guys ever had. Did you know that you had something special like right away, or wasn't it until it came out after a while that you realized how big that song became?
We had the song originally when we did Dawn Patrol, and when you go in to make your first couple of albums, you always have a pile of songs, because you're spending, your whole career or the years leading up to that first album, putting together a nice big list of songs that you'll have, and so we did have that song. We used to perform it in little, small clubs around San Francisco. It wasn't quite the way it turned out, but we knew we liked that song. We all really got on board with that song early on. So when we got a chance to actually put it on the record, the second album, we spent more time getting it together and arranging it and making sure the performances and the lyrics and everything were what we wanted to put together and present. So that's how it happened.
All right. Well, that definitely worked out well for you guys there. That was your highest charting single, and then as obviously Sentimental Street popped up into the top 10 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about another song that I thought should have been higher in the charts than it was, Goodbye. Tell us about that song, how it came to be.
Great song. Well, I mean, Jack wrote that for his brother, who actually died of a drug overdose in the 70s, late 70s. And he always was struck by the fact that he never got to say what he wanted to say to his brother, or say goodbye, or share certain things as he was growing up. So that was the inspiration behind that song. When Jeff Watson brought this wonderful piece of music in, and was playing the 12-string acoustic part, Jack
Mhm.
Jack thought that was a perfect time to get it, to sit down and actually say goodbye to his brother. So that's what it was.
Yeah, that was definitely a great song there. Definitely.
Really good one. Yep.
All
And
right.
I had the
Mhm.
great fortune of singing the song, which
Yeah.
is wonderful that they allowed me to do it. It's actually Jack thought it would be a good idea for me to sing that song. That was a really great um, opportunity for me.
Yeah, and that's another question I was just going to bring up. So this segues nicely here. Obviously, once a song is written, how do you guys go about deciding who should sing it? And did you ever get to a point where somebody else had to make the call on that, or was it always up to you guys pretty much?
What we always did, since there was two lead singers in the band, we always thought that it would be a good idea to use within a song both voices. So that's why we always came up with the idea of me singing a bridge or me singing a second verse, and then we come together on the chorus and sing together. So we always had that going, and we always try it out. We never just say, no, I'm going to do this, or this, it should be like this. It's like, well, if I'm inspired by a lyric or something like that, we always go, let's hear what it sounds like, and so we'll have two mics set up, and we'll just do it, on the spot, and then you know right away. I mean, we always have good instincts like with that, so we'll always know as soon as you do playback. Oh yeah, that's not quite right, or yeah, that's perfect. Let's do that. Let's have you sing there. So that's how it is. You just take out the extra time and get it perfect.
Yeah, there's not too many bands that have that problem either because usually they have one singer in a band, but you guys have that luck of having two singers in the band here, like you had mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean that's something, and a lot of times I think it plays to your benefit, obviously. So that's even better.
I agree. I mean, I always thought that it was an awkward kind of idea to have two lead singers in the band, but it never has been for us. Because always, we always look at like what's the focal point. If you have two singers and one guy takes a line or takes a verse, is it going to distract from what the message is? And so we always protect that way. We protect the song because the song is everything to us. So we always want it to get interpreted in the right way, and that's so if it works out that two lead singers can actually get that message across and it doesn't confuse everything, perfect. You know.
Now, when you guys put the band together, was that the plan from the get-go to have two singers? Was there something that inspired that?
We didn't really have any kind of like idea about. I mean, here's the thing: Alan Fitzgerald, our original keyboard player, was came up with the idea of having two singers in the band because when we were playing in small clubs around, I was singing a couple of songs and Jack was singing, so it always just something natural about that with us. And so when Alan saw us play, he was still playing with Ronnie Montrose and Gamma at the time, and he was on a break from touring, and he came and saw us, and he always thought two lead singers and two lead guitar players. So that was his vision, kind of in the beginning,
Mm.
and so that's how it came about, and we just kind of like massaged that and went with it and made it work.
Now, you're always got a unique setup on stage as well, because most drummers are always in the rear of the stage, and you're off to the side there. What was the reasoning behind it? What was the main thing why you guys did that?
Well, once uh, we were together for probably like maybe 6 months or something like that. And Sammy Hagar, of course, Alan Fitzgerald and him and Sammy had a great history together. And Sammy was about to do some local dates in California to break in his new album and stuff like that. And he asked us if we wanted to open up the show, and we said that'd be great, great
Hmm.
opportunity. And so these were the first shows we ever did, and so when we decided to do it, we realized that was going to be a problem. Like, are we going to put the drum set in the middle? It's going to just like destroy everything, because most bands have like 10 feet, in front of the headliner. So we wanted to kind of like show off that I could sing, but still have room in the middle for performance with the three guitar players and Jack being in the middle singing. So Alan Fitzgerald was actually the idea behind that. He said, "Look, there's going to be a car on stage. There's going to be like a Trans Am body right where the drum set's going to be or whatever." He said, "We have to figure this out." So he said, what if we turn both keyboards and the drum platform sideways and split them off, like just part and put the three guitar players in the middle? So that's how we got through the first few years opening up tours, and it looked like we had our own stage and our own performance and our own production because we had that as an ace in our back pocket. It worked out perfectly.
And then you just kept it from there, even when you started headlining.
Exactly. We thought it looked interesting, and we could focus lights were great. I mean, we didn't have to. I mean, I remember seeing like pictures of the Eagles back in the day when Don Henley was in the middle, and it was like the cymbals were like this, you know. And here's the guy that's singing a bunch of the songs, and you can't even see it. And we said, let's don't do that. Let's figure something out. So that's what we did.
Yeah, worked out great. Definitely. All right, well, do you have a favorite song that you enjoy singing live?
I don't know. A lot of times it's not our own songs, but are you? Is that what you're talking about? Night Ranger songs?
Yeah, just one song that when it comes during your show that you really enjoy singing.
Well, I think that I've developed a great performance with Sentimental Street. And I got a chance over the years to put some of my influence from Blue Eyed Soul and Motown into
Mm.
and incorporated it into that lead vocal. So I do enjoy doing that song because it's a real challenge for me playing drums and singing that song and trying to work out how I phrase as opposed to what I'm playing on the drums.
Now, did you always sing when you were drumming, or is that something you kind of picked up down the road when you first started playing?
I started playing it when I was 7 years old, and I basically started doing both at the same time.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was influenced by the music that my older brothers were playing, and it was like Buddy Holly, and it was all the old '50s artists. And so when I got a chance to get behind a drum set, I thought, well, I don't want to lose that whole inspiration of being able to sing. So I just learned how to do both of them at the same time.
Yeah, so now when you became a member of Rubicon, that was like your first big break there. How did you get to land the gig for that one?
Well, Brad actually had seen me play with this band called Rags in the '70s, playing around San Francisco, and so when it came up that Greg Eckler, the original drummer for Rubicon, was leaving the band after their second album was recorded, um, Brad knew that I could probably cover that gig, singing and playing. So he called me up, and I was in LA at the time, and of course he was still in the Bay Area. I went down to
Hmm.
Los Angeles to record with Jesse Harms and uh, um, Alfonso Johnson. They had a new project going on, and so I was down there, and they said, "Hey, you want to come up and audition for Rubicon?" And I put my whole drum set in one case and put it on the plane and took it up to San Francisco and auditioned, and got the gig. I was really excited. So
No, obviously that was after they played the massive California Jam 2 you joined. So,
I missed it.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously they were a pretty big band at one time there. And then unfortunately, obviously it ended, and then you guys formed out of the ashes of that pretty much for Night Ranger.
Exactly. There for a while, we had Jerry Martini still in the band, and we just continued on, trying to create some music. Jerry Martini, of course, played saxophone, so we tried to. Some of our early demos had sax in it and stuff like that. But then we quickly switched over, and Johnny Cola from was who was still in the band Rubicon. So it was Johnny Cola from Huey Lewis and the News, Jerry Martini on saxes, so we tried to some different combinations, but then eventually we got down to Alan Fitzgerald, Jeff Watson, Brad Gillis, myself, and Jack. And formed Ranger. It became Night Ranger.
Yep. And the rest is history from there.
Yeah, we were very lucky, man.
All right. So, obviously, you guys, are you going to be doing anything special for the upcoming 40th anniversary?
Well, we haven't really thought about it. I mean, I think that maybe if we can continue supporting this record, that'd be a good thing. But we just, I think it's just a monumental date that a lot of bands don't have the opportunity to do unless they're the Eagles or the, you know what I'm saying, that
Hmm.
have that history. So I think that you know, I mean, we still have some songs left over too from this album. Maybe
Mm.
we'll, maybe come up with another album. You know.
Yeah, speaking of albums, a lot of the back catalog hasn't really gotten a chance to be like remastered and re-released out there. Some of the stuff is really hard to find, actually. Some of it. Is
Mm-hmm.
any chance down the road you might do some reissues or anything?
We have been talking about that, and Frontiers was kind of in the picture too, possibly doing a box set or remastering or remixing even. So we would just have to go back and get the original masters and put them up the old 2 inch, and it'd be really fun. So there's that. Those ideas are floating around about putting together the whole catalog in one place.
That'd be awesome. Now, you guys, as far as touring for this, were you touring for the rest of this year? Do you have dates lined up for next year as well?
We there are some ideas. We originally had a tour booked for last year. It was supposed to be Sammy Hagar and Whitesnake, so we might still keep that idea going. But we would definitely like to be on a package next year. But this year we still have some dates left over. We just came back from Sturgis yesterday, so we played Sturgis, which is a really great gig, and it was because REO canceled, so we got in that slot at the
Mm.
last minute, like but 5 days out,
Wow.
So we kept everybody out there and just and went to Sturgis and played that show. It was great, and yeah, we still have some dates left over. We have the Kiss Cruise coming up in October. Um, so yeah, we're gonna finish out the year playing live.
Yeah, you guys, I guess Kerry hurt himself or something, so you had Gilby fill in?
Yeah, Gilby came out and played the last three songs in Sturgis, but he had to have some knee surgery,
Oh.
which wasn't. He's not having a replacement. He just had to have a little surgery because he twisted it or something at one of the performances a few weeks ago, and it was really bothering him. So we thought, let's get him in there. And then the Sturgis thing came up after he scheduled the surgery, so we didn't want him to miss that. So we just said, look, we'll go and attempt to try and play as a four piece, and Brad Gillis did a great job, and then of course Gilby was there, and and he came out and played "Don't Tell Me You Love Me, Sister Christian" and "Rockin' America" with us, which is really
Oh,
great
wow.
fun.
Yeah, definitely. A good way to end the show there.
Great.
All right. Last question I have for you basically is there any, it seems like nowadays the big thing is books, biographies, whatever have you. Anything that you know about that's in the works or anything possibly down the road?
We've told a lot of the stories over the course of the years. So but I mean, you never can rule that out. I know a lot of bands have been doing documentaries and films and stuff like that. I think that would be fun if we got everybody's intake and stories about how the band, created and then moved on through success. I think that would be a real plus. And it's seeing everybody's, their perspective on it would be really cool too.
Yeah.
But who knows? We don't have anything, in concrete yet. But
Nothing planned. Yeah, I gotcha.
mm-mm.
All right. Well, is there any other things you want to mention to us, the fans? Let them know anything, other things you might be working on, or any other things going on there that you might have this year.
We're just going to continue, finishing off the touring of this year, and we want to support this album. But we do want to go to Japan. We always go to Japan every album, and so that's planned next October, a year from October.
Mm.
So we're going to go over there and support this record. But last time we were over there, we did the double album shows, which was the first two albums, and we played them on stage. So we were thinking about maybe doing Seven Wishes and maybe the fourth album. So over in Japan. So that's something that we're going to think about seriously putting together.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, I appreciate your time here, and thank you again. And as always, and best of luck on the new album there and
Thanks,
everything.
Joe. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right.